Hey, what's up, pro wrestling fans? Welcome to the Nation's Corner. I am Front Row. Joining me, as always, is Debhausen, the Great and Powerful. Special guest this evening, Ezra. Ezra, what's going on, man?
What's going on, everybody? Glad to be here. Glad to be a part of the show, man. It's awesome.
Awesome. Deb, how are we doing? How was your week?
Week was good in some ways, horrible in other ways. The good news is I got a new job soon, so yay!
Yay!
I'm not going to share where.
Okay, that's fair.
But it's a good thing. A very, very good thing.
Good. Awesome. Ezra, what'd you do this week? Anything exciting?
Not really. Just a prototypical work, come home, but watch some great wrestling this past week. Man, it's been a crazy week. I would say this week has been a very nice evil weekend, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
It's been a great week.
That's one of many things we're going to talk about tonight because it was a very eventful week in pro wrestling. We've got a lot of stuff going on tonight. Of course, we've got the Royal Rumble, we've got Mission Pro Wrestling, Crazy Train, and then a bunch of stuff coming up in the next month or so that we're going to talk about. Deb, where should we start tonight?
Let's start with Mission Pro and our special news.
Awesome. Okay, so folks, I'm very excited. If you didn't see on Twitter, we are, as you know, we are Turnbuckle sponsors for Mission Pro Wrestling, and the Turnbuckles are in. And if you guys would turn off your screens for a moment, I will share that. Here we are with La Mera and our new Turnbuckle pads. And on the ring for tonight's pay-per-view. How exciting is this, man? When Brian and Thunder sent over the pictures yesterday when they got to Conroe to set up, I was super excited. We sent it out on Twitter, we sent it out everywhere. We get a lot, people are super happy, and it's just a big deal. Like our stuff,
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. And I just want to give a shout out to Sean for, a really cool design that he created that is now on the turnbuckle of a real wrestling ring.
Yeah, it is the coolest. So thanks to everybody at Mission Pro Wrestling for making this happen for us. We're proud sponsors and proud partners. And I can't wait to see the show that they're going to put on tonight. But also with Mission Pro, there was big news this week. It was announced that Mission Pro Wrestling will be part of the GCW Collective Weekend in April. That's huge because anybody who knows wrestling, especially right now, GCW is the hottest ticket in town. I don't care where you are, what you're watching, everybody's watching GCW, and everybody who's anybody wants to be part of their shows. And then you take it up on another notch, and the Collective, which is a series of shows and promotions grouped into one weekend around WrestleMania weekend. It's huge, it's awesome, and I can't wait to see as we get closer to the event what that card looks like.
Absolutely. If you're an independent promotion, you want to be a part of the GCW Collective. It is the biggest collection of independent events in pro wrestling today. Whether it's Effie's Big A Brunch, Joey Janela's Spring Break, Josh Barnett's Bloodsport, the stuff with all the other promotions, and now Mission Pro being a part of it, that is huge for them because they're going to have the eyes of the world on them on Fight TV, and it's going to be amazing to see them, really showcase what they're truly about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm very excited for them that they get to be a part of this. I'm excited to just see what the show looks like, what it entails. Everything involved in the whole collective is going to be really awesome this year, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty excited, and I'm pretty excited. It's going to be interesting to see who gets booked for that show because GCW has this policy as a company that they have people from everywhere. We've seen people from Impact and Ring of Honor and other AEW people have been there. Obviously, like Thunder was just on. We saw the Briscoes were there. Just a lot of the hot talents that you're mentioning from companies all over the world. Minus WWE, of course. Have appeared in GCW in recent months. So as that weekend starts to take shape, not just the Mission Pro show, but the other shows as well, I'm excited. I'm more excited about that than I am about WrestleMania as a card, because we
Yeah.
don't know much about Mania at this point. But
Right. And me too. And personally, I'm going to be making the trip to the Dallas area for WrestleMania weekend. And I've purchased tickets for WrestleMania. We just got the cheapest seats we could because honestly, WrestleMania is the least thing that I'm most excited about that whole weekend. I'm just excited to see what other shows we could go to. WrestleCade. I'm excited to just see my friends. Tony and Chris will be there. I'm hoping the Garzas will be there. And I'm excited to get some Texas barbecue for the first time and some homemade Texas sweet tea.
nice. Did you hear Bray Wyatt was going to be part of WrestleCon?
Yes, yes, I think I may have.
Yeah, that whole weekend's going to be awesome. We probably won't be traveling, but we're going to be watching everything and touching base with everybody. And as you guys are there, send us all the pictures and videos so we can post it on our
yes.
socials. So I do. Ezra's here as our resident GCW expert. Before we dive into that, I just want to give a shout out to Kayla Sparks, friend of the show. She was on a couple months ago, and she posted earlier today that she's home with COVID. So we wish her a speedy recovery.
Yes.
So let's do a quick rewind. Last weekend, we saw the World on GCW, which was their big show at the Hammerstein Ballroom, which sold out the first day before anything was announced. They just said GCW Hammerstein, boom, sold out. And they delivered a pretty cool show. Ezra, from your perspective, do you think that the show delivered on all the hype?
Yeah, I truly think so. I think with the with everything that they had, with the hype that they built up with this whole entire card, whether it's the Ring of Honor World Title match, which unfortunately had to be postponed because Gresham had COVID and he couldn't make it to the show. I mean, the card delivered on all fronts, from whether it was a 6-man scramble with Alex Zane and the crew, whether it was the ladder match, even Nick Gage finally getting his moment in Hammerstein at the end of the show, which I thought was amazing. Of course, there was issues with the timing and and all that stuff that was reported. Because if you notice, the main event was cut relatively short. But I think that overall, with the wrestling aspect of it, they delivered as much as they could. Of course, with the athletic commission, a lot of this stuff had to be cut out: the blood, the light tubes, the pizza cutters, any of the traditional stuff that makes GCW. But they adapted really well. They put on the best show that they could. To me, I thought the story told in Matt Cardona and Joey Janela, I thought was really well done. The throwbacks to kind of like ECW One Night Stand 06 with Brian Myers doing the edge thing through the door with the spear. I thought that Alley Catch, Ruby Soho was amazing. I thought they did a hell of a job. To me, outside of that, maybe the 6-man scramble, I thought those were the matches of the night.
So let me ask you this. I think for me, the Alley Catch Ruby Soho match was a great match. And if that match was on Dynamite, it could have headlined Dynamite. But it was very different from the rest of the card, right? It was a traditional hard-hitting wrestling match. And almost everything else we saw on the show was car crash, in your face. It was very different. To me, it was the least exciting, even though it was probably the best technical match on the card. And that's just, it's sort of, I don't think that it fit with the GCW style, even though, again, the match itself was terrific. It just didn't seem, it seemed like it was out of place.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with that. Those two ladies are really, really awesome in the ring, but yeah, you're right. It just didn't kind of fit with the whole feel of the whole show.
Yeah, especially when you got so many matches that are, no rules, balls to the wall, just straight out brawls. Where you got, like I said, the ladder match, which was bump after bump after bump, and then you've got the 6-man scramble or the trios lucha match, which is all spots, and then you got this really technical, classic pro wrestling style match where it was hard hitting in its own right, but it was it was like a match you would see, like you said, on AEW Dynamite or on SmackDown on Fridays. It's not it is out of place. But unfortunately, I think that GCW is kind of trying to adapt itself a little bit to that style because of them bringing in a Jonathan Gresham defending the Ring of Honor World Title in Pure Rules style matches. It does throw you off, but I think that they're trying to right now. Before they were just appealing to the deathmatch crowd. Now I think they're starting to appeal to more styles with the lucha style, and of course now trying to be more technical and trying to include some normal matches on their card.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. Like the first time that we saw a GCW show, I thought, we've talked about this on the show, I thought it was all deathmatch wrestling, and it wasn't. It was just a buffet of different things. But for me, I just thought that maybe part of the problem for me was that they stacked it so heavy in the other direction that the one match that wasn't like that sort of stuck out. But again, it was a terrific match. We saw Alley Cat in 2016 here, and when she was doing the cat gimmick, and during COVID, she rebranded herself and had that match. She had that killer death match with Nick Gage, and really turned the fans on to the new edge that she's been bringing, and her stuff with Effie, like all of it's really innovative, really cool. The Team Busty stuff, like they had signs at Raw a few weeks ago,
yeah.
So obviously they're permeating the mainstream, and I can't tell you how happy it makes me to hear however many thousands of people were in that room singing Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and just it was, if you watch Thunder's vlog from this week, she was in the crowd filming, and it has a very loud, like first person feel to it as opposed to a produced audio piece.
Yeah.
And you can just feel the excitement in the room when Effie came in and it was in the ring. And man, in 2022, we've got all these hardcore wrestling fans singing Elton John. It's amazing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And I think I even said when we were watching it that is just a great wrestling theme song. Like, who would have thought? It's a great entrance song.
Yeah. And we get to hear Metallica twice, which is
yes.
And don't forget, we also got to hear Pantera as well.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
Those 2,000 people singing "Walk" was for lyric. The Second Gear Crew I thought was freaking awesome. But dude, like you said, Metallica with Nick Gage, I had goosebumps up and down my arms when Gage came out on that stage and that crowd was gathered around him. And him looking up and smiling at those people up in the balcony. I thought that entrance just made the whole night for me, because me being a NASA Gage fan, I thought that was so cool for him, for all the stuff that he's been through, the jail time, the good, all the stuff that he's been through personally. I feel like that was vindication for him for all the years he put into the deathmatch style. Like, hey, look what we did,
Yeah.
Well, and so that's a question, right? Because leading up to that, I think people sort of figured out, or just figured, that Nick Gage was not going to be part of the show. And FTR had been building this feud with the Briscoes online and in interviews and stuff, and even on Busted Open the previous week. And I'm like, well, that's the logical thing, right? That's the thing that everybody wants to happen. And if it doesn't happen, it's going to be a letdown. Except if you're Nick Gage in the GCW crowd.
Yeah.
And
I gotta be honest though, I was a little bit let down. I understand that Nick Gage is their guy and that's his crowd. But, me sitting at home, it just wasn't what I was expecting. So I was a little bit let down, and I was kind of like, oh, this might be a little anticlimactic.
Yeah, I totally get that. And if you heard, Sam Roberts was on Busted Open this week, and he did a good job of summarizing, or sort of capturing the feeling of the GCW faithful, because like Nick Gage is their Hulk Hogan, like their guy. And we've seen the shows where the shows are rowdy, they're fun, but when his music hits, when For Whom the Bell Toll hits, it takes him 3 to 5 minutes to get 30 feet to the ring, to fight for the crowd, to actually get into a ring, because he's so over with that crowd. I don't think he got quite the same reaction to Hammerstein that he did in his home venue, but it was still like 95%.
Right.
Well, a lot of it also, I think, from Row, it has to do with Nick Gage is used to having, when he comes through the stage and everything, he's used to going through the crowd and standing up on chairs, throwing up the MDK symbol. But because of New York's guidelines on COVID and the state athletic commission, he wasn't able to do that. I mean, he was stable, and plus also with the time constraints with pay-per-view, he wasn't able to do his full entrance with MLJ reading off all of his stuff and all that. So it was a mix of a couple different things. But I mean, he got a loud pop, but also we got to mention another loud pop on the show. Once again, Thunder Rosa.
Dude, it's insane. Like, I was watching that pre-show, and when she came out, and there was, I mean, it was a chance where, like, for several minutes. And as a personal fan of Paro, watching Thunder and Paro work was like something I didn't know I ever wanted, but I needed. It was terrific, and the way that she eliminated him was like, it was just great. Because we've interviewed Paro, we've spent time with him in the NWA at the different tapings, and he's awesome, like all kinds of fun, bubbly, and just not what you would think from the guy on TV. And to see them work together, it made my heart happy. I was like, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Thunder just gets a massive pop every time she comes out. It's just astounding.
Yeah, I think she said on her vlog that it was overwhelming in the moment. Like, she was expecting or hoping for a big pop, but like it was more, I think, than she anticipated in the moment. It didn't show on her face, but like later, it definitely, it sunk in. But someone else that showed up was Lufisto.
Yeah. She just got inducted. She got inducted the previous night into the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame. And of course, got to say congratulations to everybody. Homicide, Dave Prazak, Tracy Smothers, all those people, Lufisto, who all got inducted into the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. But it was awesome to see her out there, just her and Thunder going at it, and see Lufisto take it to everybody. And she proves that even 20 years after she debuted, she still got it, can still kick ass. So,
yep.
Yeah.
It would be cool to see her in the ring again. Who knows?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So any other thoughts on this event? I know we want to keep everybody's time tonight because we want to get everybody over to the Royal Rumble on time. But there was a couple other things I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
There's an event coming up in February.
Yes.
In California, and I believe Thunder's facing Tony Deppen.
Yes.
And I'm excited for that match because if y'all haven't seen Thunder in intergender matches, she's the real deal.
Yeah.
Go look up her matches with Sammy Guevara.
Oh yes. And I've seen some negative Nancys and Debbie Downers out there on the internet talking about Thunder and saying a little bit of negative things, and I just want to say that's not cool. And we love Thunder. Thunder is the biggest rising star out there right now.
Yeah, and everybody at Mission Pro, Thunder, Brian, Jeremiah, Melanie, everyone's been super supportive of us in the show and our whole group, and that's everyone in the Discord, that's everyone that supports our show and supports Mission Pro. So
yeah.
There's some really exciting things coming up for her, for their company, for her in AEW. I mean, I'm not into like booking or anything, but I can only think based on what we're seeing on TV that there's going to be some exciting things coming up.
Yeah.
Especially when someone's going to be in Chicago next week.
I wonder who. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome to see Thunder and Mercedes Martinez lock up on Rampage. I cannot wait for that. That's gonna be. I mean, yeah, everybody's excited to see Punk and MJF as much as I am, but Thunder and Mercedes, I've been looking forward to that match for a while, as everybody else has, and to have it in that building where history was made with the Moxley winning the title and that tag match from a couple years ago that was hailed as one of the best tag matches of all time. It's going to be awesome to see Thunder and Mercedes just absolutely just go at it and showcase what women's wrestling truly is about.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you saw their matches from the indie scene last year, wow. I mean, there were some like as Holiday would say, some bangers on bangers. Like there were some
Bangers on
real
bangers.
heavy. You know, when you have two technical, hard hitting people like that who have been around and done it, and have the right chemistry, they can really put on. So I hope they get time. I hope they get a good amount of time to tell the story that they want to tell, because there's no reason that match won't steal the show or couldn't steal the show.
No.
Thunder steals every show she's on.
She does. So I did want to ask, I know we want to get to the Royal Rumble stuff, but I have a quick question about AEW, because you guys are both huge AEW guys. I went back and rewatched the MJF Punk stuff today, and it's sort of like, it's good, but I feel like MJF is reaching at this point. Like the trash talking feels very flat to me. Like Punk was super emotional, like, you know, how dare you? Like I really felt like we got the real guy coming back at him about I love this and all the passion. But there's that scripted sort of, it's not like MJF to sound scripted. And I felt this week like he sort of did.
Yeah,
I gotta wonder. Sorry, Ezra, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I feel like he is reaching a little bit. I feel like he's digging too deep into the well of some of the cheapy comebacks. I feel like that he's not putting. I'm not saying putting a lot of passion, because MJF always comes out there and kills every promo that he does because of who he is. But to me, I feel like that he's just reaching too deep into the cheap insults, into the classic, you know, just zingers and all that. This is not the typical MJF that we're used to, and I feel like that. He kind of cooled down this week compared to where Punk was, like you said, fired up, emotional, ready to kill MJF at a moment's notice, and MJF just seemed like he was not taking it seriously.
Yeah, I was gonna say I gotta wonder if maybe he kind of threw everything he had in the beginning of the feud, and now he's like, you know, he's got no real good zingers left. He's already said them.
Yeah,
I mean, his bit about, you know, how Punk didn't actually leave in 2005, he left in 2014, and it was, you know, good that it was in Cleveland, so he was able to tie all that stuff in. And he talked about the podcast thing, and you're like, all right, but like, we've all been through that. We've all heard that story before. You're not telling us anything that we don't know, or pulling back the curtain and making us feel like you're really getting him. And to me, the people who win the promo battles in my head are the people who feel the realest. You know, that's why guys like Enzo, when Enzo's out there cutting promos, like, he feels real. Eddie Kingston is real. There's no feeling with him, which is why I think Eddie Kingston came out ahead in the promo battle with Punk. But like this week, I felt like Punk was, you know, I don't usually use people's real names, but like I felt like Phil Brooks was pissed, and I feel like he even cut him off a few times during the promo, which isn't normal. So I think there's going to be some live rounds next week. I think there's some real animosity there, at least from him.
I hope so.
I don't think
I got a question. I got a question for you both. What would you think if MJF brings up Colt Cabana?
By name? I think he should.
Yeah. Or there. Just, you know, brings that into the storyline in some way.
He did. He mentioned, he accused Punk of just suing people when he gets sick and tired of stuff. He brought up the podcast. So he brought up all of that stuff without name dropping Colt. If he name drops him, I think he should have done it in the moment, because now you've already referenced it. To come back to it again, it doesn't have the same impact. Down the road, sure, let somebody else do it.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
If he works there, they may have an agreement that we're not gonna go there. I don't know.
Yeah. We don't know what their relationship is like now, if they've just agreed to, you know, stay separate and be cordial because they work for the same company or whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I'm not backstage. I don't know.
I know. I got my best friend who kind of, every time we go to a con, Punk knows him and talks to him about some of this stuff, like some of the behind the scenes stuff. From what I know, Punk and Cabana still kind of are distant.
Okay.
They're still kind of distant. They'll maybe say hi to each other in passing, but they won't like have a strict long conversation, because of
Right.
what happened years ago. It's still kind of a strained relationship. That's just from what I know on a secondhand basis.
Okay.
Okay.
That would make sense.
So now that's what Mrs. Front Row is saying. Is this a future feud? I mean, do you
Yeah.
really put these guys in the ring together down the road with the
I
fans
think-
knowing what they know?
I'm thinking.
I would like to see it, absolutely.
Oh, there's Hijacker.
Hey, Hijacker.
What you thinking, brother? Oh, his audio's out.
There we go.
Your audio's out. There you go.
So what I'm thinking, quick note, I hope that this feud holds up as well as their on mic skills. They have been great on the mic with one another. I hope the match can hold up to that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on. We've got we've got a limited amount of time tonight. I want to cover a bunch of stuff. We've got the men's and women's Royal Rumble matches tonight, but I did want to take a moment to talk about the other matches that we're looking at. Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Maurice and Miz. Edge and Beth Phoenix look absolutely deadly as a couple. Beth Phoenix is a monster, like in the best possible way. When she took her shirt off and she had, the guns out and everything, I was like, wow.
Yes.
Don't mess with those two people. So are you guys excited for this match? How do you think do we know how this is going to go? I'm
very, very excited. And I think I've said this before. When I first started watching wrestling, in like 2007, 2008-ish, somewhere around there, Beth Phoenix was the first female wrestler that I was drawn to. I saw her and I was like, this is my girl. Like, I love her. She is strong. She is powerful. She wasn't the Kelly type. Nothing against Kelly. But, I was drawn to her. And I am so glad that she's back. I think her and Edge, have an amazing chemistry, and I'm really, really excited to see a great match. And I'm glad Maurice is back as well. I love Maurice.
Yeah, definitely. I think Beth is in the best shape of her career so far, and it's just amazing how the work ethic she has, being a mother, being a parent, just in trying to not only manage her own career, but also, like I said, just being a parent, being a housewife, and she's doing it so well. But she's in incredible shape. So is Edge. Edge, has never looked better in his career, and I think tonight's match is going to be a banger between them two because there's a little bit of that personal animosity, almost in a sense, just in a storyline fashion. And I think that both teams are going to kill it. And it's going to be. I think Edge and Beth are gonna pick up the victory. I think so. But if they decide to extend this feud any longer, I could see Miz and Maurice getting it. Maurice, she looks amazing, and I can't wait to see how good she is in the ring tonight.
Yeah.
So there's two things there. One, an issue for me is Beth is still a Hall of Fame caliber wrestler.
Absolutely.
All due respect for Maurice. I think she's awesome. I've seen Miz and Mrs. and all that. They're not even on the same level in the ring.
No, not at all.
One of the things that's interesting about Beth Phoenix is that she just spent the last couple of years doing NXT and built an incredible career for herself as a broadcaster, where she grew into that role to the point where she was one of the best in the business.
Yeah.
You bring that back, you marry that up with her in-ring skills, and now you've got someone who can talk. Now you've got someone who can wrestle and talk at the highest level. Look, you compare her to Maurice, it's just not. They're not in the same ballpark.
No, not even close.
Yeah, no, I don't think so at all. No disrespect to Maurice, I love her, but yeah, I think Beth is just on another level right now.
And I'll add to that, when Miz and Beth had that face-off last week, Beth would have cleaned his clock.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Never mind Maurice.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other match I wanted to ask you guys about, and this is the thing for me, and I guess it's probably going to depend on where the placement of the Rumble match is for the women, but Becky versus Doudrop. I want Doudrop to win the title so much because I feel like she had this unbelievable career on the indies. She killed it in NXT UK. You know, she came over and she was doing great stuff here, and they changed her name and people crap all over it. But they've been giving her a massive spotlight. I mean, she's been on TV with the biggest names having great matches. I'm like, okay, do they let her win? Does she win tonight and then someone from the Rumble, you know, goes on to face her, or is the Rumble match first? It's going to be interesting to see the match placement tonight, I guess.
Yeah.
So first question, do you think it's time for Doudrop to be champion?
I do.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and Sean's right. It's Piper Niven. I'm going to go with the Mark Henry rule. It's Piper Niven. It's not Doudrop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, I think she's taking it tonight. I think it's her time, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think because they're giving her the massive spotlight because she's worked so hard to get to this level. And I did watch some of her stuff before she came to NXT UK. Like I was familiar with her to a degree, and she is an awesome professional wrestler for, a person, because she's bigger than most girls, but she moves so well and she does a great job in the ring. She kills it every single time. So I think tonight, it's going to be the night where we see a new champion.
So let me ask you this. Like, you know, Nia Jax was in that position because she was physically imposing. She was dominant. But, you know, from a wrestling perspective, she didn't put on the 5-star matches, right? No. And that's just fact. Piper can put on 5-star matches. Like I've seen her wrestle in Japan. I've seen her, you know, you've seen her, some of the Japanese matches that she's had, some of the stuff that she's had in the UK were like legit main event 5-star matches. And now, you know, in her presence and her appearance brings something different. Do you think that they see that as an opportunity to push her at this point?
I hope.
And by that, I mean, if she wins tonight, will she have like an actual run, or is it going to be a transitional 2-week deal?
No, I hope that she has an actual run. I think she's earned it. You know, she's worked her butt off to get to this point. Tony says in the chat that he thinks Becky retains so that Ronda has somebody to challenge at WrestleMania. If Ronda's coming and if Ronda wins, I mean that's the assumption there.
Okay, so that's a good bridge. Let's talk about that Rumble match. I'm not going to run through all the names, but there are currently 23 of the 30 entrants announced. Mm-hmm. There's 7 open slots, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you? Of course, this is the buzz on the internet is about Ronda. It's always about Ronda when it comes Rumble time or pay-per-view time. Hey, she's coming back. Hey, she's coming back, and then she doesn't show up. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I personally still think that she's too big for the Rumble match. That you bring her back as her own return.
Mm-hmm. Right.
To me, it doesn't seem like the Rumble matches are for legends or returning people from injury, or there's a few big moments. But to me, the Rumble isn't the place where you bring back a 7-figure superstar, right? You want that bigger return.
Yeah, she's a megastar, and I do think that the Rumble match is not quite the place for her. I mean, she had her debut match at WrestleMania. Her big comeback that's unexpected, might get a little lost in the Rumble match.
Yeah, it's to me. I think that Ronda is, like you said, she's bigger than the Rumble. She deserves, if she's gonna come back, she's gonna come back on a main show and build this feud build a feud for WrestleMania. That's like you said. If she appears in the Rumble, it's just gonna be a prototypical case of her maybe being number 30, going out there, eliminate people, and then winning the Rumble. It's gonna be way too predictable, in my opinion. If you want to bring Rousey back, you got to do it in the most unpredictable way and shock the fans. And I don't think her being in the Rumble tonight is going to do anything that'll be like a grandiose, shocking moment.
So what if during the Becky Piper match, Ronda comes back and interferes, costs her the title. Piper wins it. She has her championship, moves on to something big, and now we have Becky and Ronda in a non-title feud that was always a grudge match anyway. And I want people in the chat to give us some ideas about who you want to see as surprise entrants tonight, because we do have those 7 slots. Also, I'm really hoping that Mickie James is right and they play hardcore country and she comes out with the title, because like all of that needs to happen.
Yes, absolutely. All of that. Speaking of, surprise returns or debuts or whatever you want to call it, I'm kind of hoping that Paige makes a little debut or return. I don't know. We don't know if she's cleared to wrestle, but there's been, the little spattering of rumors. I'm hoping that we get to see her back in the ring at some point.
Definitely, it's very unpredictable. These rumbles are this year, which is something that I absolutely love. I love the unpredictability. You don't know who's going to show up this time, and that's amazing. There wasn't a lot of stuff spoiled that was led up to tonight, and I'm actually very surprised by that. And
I'm happy about that.
Yeah. And as far as Mickie goes with the Knockouts title, I hope she does too, because not only is it a big moment for just wrestling in general, but it's a big moment for Impact as well. To have their champion featured on a WWE pay-per-view with their title, with their World Women's title on screen, and their theme song playing is something that on WWE TV we haven't heard of in a long, if ever. So it's going to be history tonight in some form.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think that they're gonna say, not only on commentary, but I think on the graphic it will say Impact Knockouts World Champion. I think it will absolutely say that, because they've already said it in their social media. They've said it on commentary.
Right. And that would be huge. That would be huge for her. That would be huge for Impact. We know, or we've heard the numbers that they get on Peacock for these, premium live events, they're now called. But yeah, if Impact gets those eyes and then she, as the Impact Knockouts champion, gets that amount of eyes, that's big time.
Yeah, if you go on Peacock's homepage right now, it's Royal Rumble. Like, it doesn't matter what it's all over their stuff. They have 36 million subscribers. So there's a lot of people with eyes on this thing tonight. And I know from folks that we've talked to that work there that the numbers, that they're very, very happy with their viewership, especially on the premium live super duper events, whatever they're called.
Premium live events.
Yeah. I'm going to call them pay-per-view. But anyway.
All right.
All right. So let's move on to the men's Royal Rumble. There are only 5 slots open, I believe. Which is interesting that they filled it up so quickly. I really would have thought they would have had more. I do want to give a shout out to Johnny Knoxville, who was on Busted Open today. Did you hear that interview?
Yes. Very, very good. I love him.
He was very good about playing with it, but then also like just sticking with it. He's like, I'm going to teach Brock Lesnar a lesson. I'm like, all right, man, whatever.
He's committed. That's one thing you can say about Knoxville is he is committed to everything he does.
See, it's Johnny Knoxville is a mess and a half. Just being point blank out there. He's a mess and a half, but the guy is damn entertaining. You cannot say that. And that is, you cannot not say that. As Johnny Knoxville is so entertaining. Yeah. And also him saying he's going to take out Brock Lesnar. Look what he did to Wee Man through a dinner table at a restaurant last night. What do you think he's going to do to Johnny Knoxville if he got a hold of him?
Yes.
By the way, he didn't put him through a table. He hit the table and the table didn't move. Yeah. And he rolled up the table.
And I'm sure that made Wee Man's life. So I'm sure that he loved it.
So we talk about the Forbidden Door like it's a real thing, whatever. But it's been fun.
Open door. Come on.
Open door. It's, what do we call it?
I'm not the forbidden is for the word forbidden is forbidden. Okay.
Yeah. So if we were to fantasy book this and say who from one of the other companies would come over into the men's match, I heard people throw around names like Nick Aldis. Like, all right, that's fine, but like Trevor Murdoch, those aren't people that are going to get a pop with the mainstream WWE names.
Right.
So who from, obviously not AEW, but from Impact or Ring of Honor or New Japan, like, could we see a Kazuchika Okada, knowing that they have a relationship with AEW right now?
I don't know. I like the idea that was brought up of Moose, because we've seen Moose, kind of cutting promos mentioning Roman Reigns and everybody in all promotions. So I like that idea of him. I'm just not sure if he would get the mainstream pop. I'm not sure how many WWE fans would know who he is.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Moose is a guy who, to me, he's had all the tools, and he's proven that he's one of the best wrestlers out there because of his size and his athleticism, being a former football player. But to me, with Impact, doesn't have that type of reach though, because they're on Access TV, and not everybody has Access TV. And
Right.
the only other way you can watch it is through their Impact Plus subscription. And yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I see Mrs. Monroe suggesting Anthony Mayweather, who's formerly known as Crimson. But he comes out as Anthony Mayweather, which, all right.
Yeah.
Definitely to me, I could see Moose out there. I could see, it's tough to say. Hey, you never know. Maybe even, I know he's not mainstream to them, but you never know. He could even bring in another Impact star, maybe like an Eddie Edwards or something like that.
Okay.
Who could probably get a good sized pop from the crowd if they know who the Wolves are in the Ring of Honor style. I can't say Okada because, to be honest, Okada is currently in Japan doing the Golden Series tour right now. He has a bout with Tetsuya Naito coming up next month. So I don't think he's not in America right now. And so that's out of the question.
Okay.
So one of the entrants that I want to point out, and Deb and I talked to JP Harlow about this recently, and this has to happen or the night will be ruined. And
ruined. Yes. So, okay. So what would you think about, if we are going to get this, if John Cena is coming out as Peacemaker, what if he comes out as Peacemaker, full costume with the helmet and everything, does a little dance, that's got to happen. But what if he also then later on comes out as John Cena?
I think that would be super fun, but with only 5 remaining spots, eating up 2 of them with John Cena might be an issue backstage.
Yeah. But it's not John Cena, it's Peacemaker.
That's fair. You can't give him a live mic because Peacemaker curses a lot.
Well, that's true. That's true. But yes, you have to do the dance. I can't do it. Oops, I just dropped my phone. Yeah, I can't. But yes, the dance has to happen. The costume has to happen with the helmet. That's gonna be gold. That's gonna make my night.
A couple names we didn't mention are a couple guys from NXT who haven't been seen since the rebranding. That being the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne and Tommaso Ciampa. Those two have not been seen since the NXT rebrand. So I'm wondering, will they take 2 of those slots in the Rumble? And I mean, would it be predictable? Yes, but I would still be popping because of Pete Dunne and how good he did in Rumbles past, and then Ciampa, I think he would be a great fit for the Rumble match because of his style, and overall, I think he would get a good reaction.
Yeah, it's actually a good call because I would actually add LA Knight to that list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were doing DMD for a second. I didn't realize.
This is
LA Knight.
This is LA Knight or Eli Drake or whatever. I forget. Yeah. So it's going to be fun tonight. I know we're closing in on start time, so I want to get everybody out of here on time. But I just want to get final thoughts on who you think will be the winner of the men's and women's.
Okay, so to make it quick and brief, I'm gonna go with Randy Orton and oh God, now I'm blanking. Lacey Evans. I'm thinking she comes out and wins. Yes.
Nice. Okay. I'm gonna go with Randy. I gotta go Randy too. I think he would be the best fit for this Rumble as far as win. And then the women, that's a tough one, man. I would have to go. You know what? I'm gonna take a shot in the dark, and I know it's probably not gonna happen. Mickie James.
Okay, I like that. So I really thought about this earlier, and I thought about it'd be fun to have Shayna win. It'd be fun to have this person win. Who's been getting a spotlight over and over and over again and never winning the big one? Liv Morgan.
Absolutely.
Liv Morgan is owed an opportunity at a shot because she keeps getting screwed out of these title opportunities with Becky cheating or Becky almost cheating or whatever it is.
Right.
Man, I think that's a way to get her in a prime spot at WrestleMania is to have her win tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And Kevin Owens is my pick for the men's, just because I think he's been doing big things and knowing he's not really on everybody's top of the list.
Right.
Unless there's some returning person that I'm not aware of that's just going to set the world on fire. We'll see. All right. Any other final thoughts, guys?
I think that's it. Everybody have a good night. Be safe. Drink a whole bunch if you're sitting at home. I know I will be.
Yeah, I think it's tonight's going to be awesome with the two shows we got. I mean, the Royal Rumble, of course, come on, it's a yearly tradition, and then of course Mission Pro Crazy Train tonight as well. It's going to be going to be an awesome show, and I just think that tonight is a great night if you're a wrestling fan with those two great shows. Of course, Mission Pro you can catch on Title Match Network, and then Peacock for the Royal Rumble. So.
Yep.
Yes.
It's going to be an awesome time tonight. I'll be doing the dual screen thing. I'll have the iPad set up with some Mission Pro, have the TV set up with some Royal Rumble, and then you guys on Zoom. So I guess the triple screen set up.
We didn't get to touch on it, but love that Danhausen.
Yes.
Cheers to Danhausen.
Yeah. Real quick, Danhausen in AEW. Super exciting. He's been on several blogs already. He was on Thunder's vlog talking all kinds of crap. He was amazing. And I think we're going to see big things from him in AEW. So cheers, everyone. Have a great week. And look at all of our socials here. Go find us on the socials. You know where to find us. See you next week.